Hey friends, welcome to a Nurse in the Kitchen. I decided to go meatless this week, so I haven't cooked anything since last week. So I thought I have some quinoa, and I had some spinach that I had kind of sauteed a little bit. And it was just sitting here, and I said, well, let me just throw it together with some edamame and do some quinoa. Sometimes I cook this. Oh, that's a big piece. Oh, no good. Sometimes I cook this with, I like to do quinoa with black beans. But today I'm going to do with edamame, which I love as well. You can go to any of the frozen section of any of your favorite store, and you're gonna find the edamame. So I'm sauteing some onion. I'm gonna put the edamame. I think I also have some peppers. I'm gonna add a little bit of that in there. I don't like the edamame to be overcooked, so I'm going to be putting things together rather quickly. So how have you guys been? I think what I want to do, when everything is done, then I'll sit down and chit chat with you guys for a little bit. Since we all don't have much to do but to sit and talk. You have to find a silver lining in the situation. So use that time to connect, to learn, to read, do something instead of just watching the news that is so depressing these days. I was reading that they are going to start charging infractions, charging people who don't respect the social distancing rules. And I went for a walk a couple of times, so today I was like, I better not chance it. So I'm doing some videos, some workout videos. Oh my god, I hadn't worked out in a while, and it's like, my body's stiff. Man. Terrible. I'm telling you, this life is so unpredictable. We had no idea our lives were going to be so different today from a month ago. It shows you how much we know and how unpredictable life really is. But you have got to find a way to make it, because otherwise you're gonna be a little bit unstable for a little while. So you have to self-care, find a way to make this life, this time productive. I think, learning something, maybe a new language, go online and get some classes. There's so much online. The good thing about social distancing is that we have the internet. I don't even want to think about what we would do if we didn't. Okay, at this point, I'm going to put a little bit of my Better Than Bouillon. Okay, you can find this at Walmart or I think Target. This is to replace any stock you are going to use, because, stock brings flavor to your food, right? Alright, so I'll put that in there. I'm going to throw in my thyme. My whole habanero, or is it Scotch bonnet? I think it's Scotch bonnet. You still have to have flavor. I don't have any cilantro, but I'm gonna put a little bit dry. But you know they want us to stay away from the stores too, so I'm using what I have. And then you know, when you're home and you're with the kiddies, you're gonna have to be creative. I didn't want to do a video on grilled cheese because you guys, you know, all about that. You can always go and look at some of my videos and do the marinara, the spaghetti. Okay, I'm putting in the red quinoa. I thought I had some white ones. Oh, I'm gonna put the rest of it. But I don't have any white quinoa, so it's all gonna be red. And it looks really good with the black beans. Alright. Even when you're cooking your rice, if you do this, like this, you get all the flavor in there, okay? So I'm gonna put my salt. Remember, I love a lot of pepper. I mean, pepper, not salt. I said my salt, and I'm putting pepper. Alright, my adobo sin pimienta. That means it's not hot, because I already have the scotch bonnet, but remember, the scotch bonnet is cold, so it's not going to be hot. And my favorite spice, which is the complete seasoning. So if you put the grain in with the spices, everything gets really coordinated in there. So your flavor, you know, you haven't heard me say flavor yet, but you got to build flavor. All right. And then remember, it's 2 to 1, but with the quinoa, you don't want to put too much water because you want it to be a little bit grainy. Now the good thing to do with quinoa or rice, usually with rice I would let it cook up on the stove uncovered, but having cooked quinoa in the past, I'm going to, let me get a taste, I'm going to cover it and let it cook slowly. Wow, it's good. You cannot lose if you think about how you're going to build your flavor. Okay? I'm going to turn the heat down. And I also have this rice that I had bought. I think I bought this at Whole Foods. But it's like a really black rice, which is not the same as the black rice we cook, the Haitian black rice with the black mushroom. But I cooked that one time, it was really good. So I'll do another video this week and show you how I can cook this. So this one, I probably want to cook it with something different that is not black. Maybe some pinto beans, or maybe some green beans, or maybe some lima beans, okay? So this is going to be what I eat today, because I'm going to go meatless. I'll see you soon. I'll be chatting with you, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Oh, and also I'll be adding my my spinach. The spinach was already sauteed, so I didn't want to put it in here now because otherwise it would be overcooked. So when the quinoa is pretty much done, then I'll add the spinach. Remember, color. You want your colors to be vibrant. All right, see you soon. Okay guys, I think my quinoa is all done. I did add the sauteed spinach in here. So I'm going to add a little bit of butter. Remember, Monte au beurre. We always finish our meals with a little bit of glistening butter. And for those of you who might say, oh, why'd you put butter in it? And I'm taking the thyme twigs that were in there, and then I'm going to plate it, and that's all I'm having tonight. I'm not having any salads. You know, I've got all my oh, there is my habanero pepper. I'm going to take that out. I have all my food groups in here. I got veggie, I have grains. I was reading a book earlier about resetting your hormone, whatever, and they say you need to stay away from grains. So I don't know what we're gonna eat. But you know what? In this COVID-19, I'm getting it right this time. I think we should just be grateful that we have something to eat, okay? And try to get some exercise instead of getting so, you know, bogged down with eat this, you can't have that. You know, we just don't have that luxury anymore. You know, life has changed. All right, here's my plate. So I'll meet you on the other side. I'm just going to the table. Hi, beautiful peeps. Welcome to Ernest in the Kitchen. It's Maggie. As promised, I wanted to show you my quinoa that I had just cooked. It's red quinoa, and it's got, let me move the camera down so you can see. It has got some edamame, red quinoa, and it also has some green peppers. I didn't have green, I had yellow and reds, bell peppers, and I had some sauteed spinach. So this is dinner on a Tuesday. I forgot what the date is, but I think it's probably March the 7th, maybe. Okay. Let's see, let's have a taste. Pretty good. You know, you're gonna have to train your mouth to eat different things. I don't eat grains usually, no rice or anything, but that's what I felt like having today, so I'm having it. And as I said before, I think I'm just grateful to be here, healthy, in my right mind, and able to talk to you today. So I have some bottled water. And I also have some white wine, some Riesling. You know, Riesling, if you haven't tried it, I showed you the bottle in another video. Just try it, you'll love it. And most people say, I love reds. I just don't care for red wine. I know it's supposed to be good for me, but I'm a rosé white kind of girl. So, I know I did a couple of, we got nothing in my teeth. Sorry about that. I just thought, because you know, my first goal when I started the channel, Ernest in the Kitchen, was to be able to talk to you guys, you know, about nursing and other things that we do that affect the profession. Oh my God. And where are we today? Wow. I only work the weekend, and I go in, I do my 16 hours. And I know there is a sense of dread, you know, when I go in. And I know I've worked with some nurses who are so scared, and some of my CNAs as well. And my job as the supervisor is to calm their fears. They shouldn't see me acting like I'm scared, because then that's going to affect them. So, and I'm not putting on an act. I'm really not going in worried that I'm going to catch COVID-19. But I do make sure I take precautions. Hand washing, your hands are so chafed and dried out because we wash them so much. I think one of my bad habits is doing this to my nose and touching my eyes. So I try to be diligent about that, about not touching. But I think in terms of leadership in the time of crisis, a leader doesn't change. when there is a crisis. In fact, their strength gets magnified. That means the team needs to look to you. And I'm in a very, very low level of management. I mean, I've been in other type of management, but my role is really nothing compared to what my boss or whoever people who are above me are going through. But the principles are the same. In the business that we're in, which is about taking care of patients, I'm not in acute care. And I don't want to say I'm grateful, but it's a relief because I know my colleagues who are in the emergency room, in the ICUs, in the LTACs, and I think about them a lot. My thoughts, my prayers go out to them because I'm thinking they are really the front line because the patients come in. Imagine being in the ICU where you have somebody intubated and you have to be the respiratory therapist, you have to really go in there. I mean, you can be covered with everything, but droplets are everywhere on the surfaces, in the air. So these folks are certainly in the front line and they're at risk. Now, when somebody goes into the emergency room, I mean, you don't know what they have. So again, you're exposed. And there's a dear friend who is a physician, and my thoughts go out to her. I have my cousin who is an NP in the ER, the same thing. So how do we, and we've lost a few colleagues, and that just breaks my heart. I don't want to get into the controversy about the PPE and the mask and those. All I can say, to be politically correct, is that you need to think of your own personal protection based on the environment that you function in, okay? At the end of the day, you have a responsibility to your patients, to your place of employment, but mostly you have a responsibility to your family. So you got to make sure you are in a position to not put your family at risk. Like, for example, when I get in, come to the garage, I stop there. There is a washing machine right there, and I strip everything down to my underwear, and then I put everything in the washer and wash. Then I go and I take my shower, and then you make sure you clean yourself up. Then you can go deal with your family. And there's this sad little picture of the dad who comes home in his scrubs, and the little toddler just runs to him to give dad a hug, and dad is like, oh, it's so hard. So we have to do that. We have a responsibility to our families, to ourselves, and to our job. So please, whatever you can do. This thing about reusing PPE, that's the recipe for a disaster, okay? So I know the managers are in a tough position, but I think everybody should be concerned about their workers, because I can tell you, if nurses and respiratory therapists decide to just not show up for work, because they don't feel safe, that's gonna be another major problem. And of course, they're gonna threaten to fire you, take legal actions, even jail you. But we're living in difficult times. I'm not advocating that we do that. But I'm saying if there were ever a time that nurses decided to stay home, we would really have a bad situation. So I think this week the problem sounds like it's easing up a little bit, and it's amazing to see the people who have come forth with their entrepreneurial ideas of making masks and stuff. It's amazing. But when you think about it on a macro level, globally, and you see how we as a community, as a country, how we are handling this epidemic, my God, there is just so much room for improvement, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. So much room. Even the United States, who is the leader of the world, supposedly, we can't get it right. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about the nursing part and the psychological impact that I know this is going to have on nurses and their families. My brother was home with his wife and he's like, oh my God, all of a sudden she's saying, why do you make noise while you eat? You know, people are going, you're going to find things about each other that you didn't notice before, right? So it's going to take a higher level of understanding and distancing even inside the home so you don't get on each other's nerves. So if you need to find a corner, a room, you're gonna have to have a meeting. If you have kids, if you have your mate, you're gonna have to say, okay, let's have a meeting, okay? Social distancing can occur also within these walls because you're gonna drive each other crazy. So try to be understanding if somebody retreats to their rooms or somewhere else so they can have some peace, because otherwise they're gonna be cuckoo and you're gonna be snapping at each other, hurting each other, saying things you don't mean. So be careful about that part. In terms of keeping yourself occupied, well, I'm here 5 days a week in my house, so I've been doing a lot of sleeping, catching up on a lot of sleeping. I clean the house top to bottom, so the house is really clean right now. You can eat off the floor, really. But I forgot to do the ceiling fans. I need to do that. So keep yourself occupied. Write down a list of projects of things that you've been wanting to do. This is the best time to do it. I've even gotten back and touched the piano. I hadn't touched the piano in months because I've been so busy. So it was nice to get reacquainted. Doing things that brings us joy, whether it's knitting, whether it's crocheting, or whether it's doing puzzles, or some people like to, you could learn something new online. You know, there is just so much. Learn the language, learn to play some games, learn new skills. You know, if you're a nurse, you know, you want to catch up on some continuing education, that is the best time to do that, you know, because everything is, you know, this is the one good thing about this pandemic is that we have the internet. What could we have done if we didn't have the internet? Now that's scary. But, you know, they did it in in the Second World War, so we could have done it too. But I know the social distancing is going to expose some psychological things that have been hidden, you know. People's depressions is going to be magnified. People who are bipolar, who had like borderline personality disorders, all these things are going to be a little bit magnified. People, I know gun sales went up, so just be very careful. Just because there's social distancing, don't think that crimes are not going to be committed, so be careful. People, you know, they say marijuana uses up, and beer uses up, and those kind of things. So, you know, guard yourself. I mean, I am not a drinker. I don't ever advocate drinking. I've seen so much harm done due to drinking. So I would never, you know, advocate that. In terms of pot, I'm not a pot kind of person. So that's not even an option. But people who have weaknesses and who tend to dab into unlawful behaviors, they're going to probably be more tempted to get that route. So be careful, be aware, and look out after your loved one, after each other. And I heard someone say earlier, and I said that in one of those Facebook posts, if you need something, please feel free to call, text, and ask me, and I will find a way to help you, because we're in this together. So from a nursing standpoint, I was talking about the supervisor and the manager and how we handle the stress and the change and the new normal is by keeping our cool and going out of our way to be understanding and kind, understanding that people are processing this in different ways, cutting some people some slack. And then where I work, you have people who are in these facilities, the family members can't come visit them. So the phone is going off the hook. And they are worried. We are their only contact in terms of medical to let them know how the loved ones are doing. So we need to take the time to talk to them and reassure them, because it's really hard to have, and the stories that break my heart are those people who die alone in those hospitals, where the nurses have to FaceTime family members as their loved ones taking their last breath. I can't even imagine that. So much hurt, so much pain going on. So let's, as nurses, do what we do best and be human and understanding and facilitating those situations, because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's coming next week. We don't know. But as I always say, we can be the best of ourselves that we can for today. So again, I'm an encourager. I don't have anything else to tell you but to hang in there. Keep the faith. We are being tested, but we can be strong. And on the other side, hopefully, we're going to be better, wiser, kinder, gentler. This is all I have for you today, guys. This is Maggie from the Nurse in the Kitchen. Hang in there. I love you. God loves you, and God bless you.